Hey everyone, welcome to our LinkedIn Live event today. We're honored to have attorney Erin Glynn with us in the room. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded. This recording is the exclusive property of Real Estate Closing Path. All video files and commentary shared during this session belong to RECP and may be used in future trainings or marketing promotions. Our intention is to represent you and RECP in the very best light. And then just a quick overview of who we are in case you don't know. We are the third branch in a suite of 3 organizations, all owned by Marianne Harris, who started in the industry over 20 years ago with Positively Balanced, which handles third-party escrow account reconciliation. Then a few years ago, she started Positively Closed, which provides remote closing support solutions. And then we are Real Estate Closing Path. We handle training in all aspects of the closing process, as well as job placement when we can. You can also follow us on social media. We are at all the different lanes as Real Estate Closing Path. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places, and we'd love for you to connect with us there. We offer 9 different workshops in the industry, everything from pre-closing prep, closing cram session, polishing off post-closing, etc. And any of these workshops can be offered as a lunch and learn. We can either come to your office or we can do these virtually. We also can customize any curriculum to fit your unique needs. Just reach out to us and we'd be happy to help. Also, just a special announcement. We're excited that all of our courses have been GREC approved for credit for realtors. We've also had some accreditation in Florida. Yes, we're very excited about that. And we'll continue to expand to some different states as well. So that's been a big accomplishment for RECP in the last year. My name is Janis. I'm the Executive Director here at Real Estate Closing Path. While I have never been a closer, my background in education helped to bring on some structure with the curriculum design, et cetera, et cetera. Our lead trainer is Sandi. She's really the wit and wisdom in all these different workshops. If you decide to participate in any of those, she would be your lead trainer. And then shout out to Pierre, our moderator in the chat box today. We could not do what we do without her. And then let me go ahead and introduce Erin Glynn. She has been a licensed Georgia attorney for 6 years, and in 2023 hung her own shingle with a law practice and title company. Erin graduated from Georgia State University in Atlanta with a double bachelor's degree in political science with an American law concentration in economics from the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies. Wow. After college, Erin lived and worked for 6 months in Brazil at a recycled materials manufacturing facility located in the Amazon region of the country. She returned to Atlanta to become employed in a dream job lobbying and organizing for the nation's oldest and largest grassroots environmental organization. Impressive. After 6 years of nonprofit work in Atlanta, Erin graduated from the New England School of Law in Boston. While in Boston, she was active in a number of campaigns related to transportation, energy, and municipal government. Erin is an active outdoors person, a longtime friend of Real Estate Closing Path, and we are very happy to have her here today. Yay, welcome, Erin.
Hi, thank you.
So
good to be here. I can't believe you guys are on TikTok. I'm way behind the times.
I have really pushed for TikTok. So I think it's the wave of the future for sure. A lot of people, a lot of realtors, attorneys, lenders are all on TikTok. So yeah. All right, so I have some questions. I'm gonna maybe stop sharing the slide for a moment. And let's see. There we go. So some questions. Erin, would you start by just telling us a little bit about your personal background?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, RECP, Real Estate Closing Path, Janis, Sandi, Marianne, for putting this together. You guys are the only job training facility out there doing this work, and it's so important to bring new people into the industry constantly. I was born in Chicago, grew up here in Atlanta, specifically in Fayette County. I attended boarding school up in North Georgia at Tallulah Falls, and kind of always worked. Never really worked at law firms, always worked in sales. And the best job I ever had before college was working at a golf course. But I had a great time getting into real estate, surprisingly, because people kind of expected, with my background in environmental work, that I would be the next Erin Brockovich, right? We've all seen that fantastic movie. And she's a legend. I've been in the same room with her. Yeah, but the reality is environmental litigation is extremely long. I mean, it can take years to resolve environmental cases. And the polluters usually win. So it was just kind of a depressing potential career path. And I instead switched to real estate because I realized one of the best ways to preserve nature and to, change the world is to take care of your own backyard and private property rights. So through, lobbying for more social justice issues, more environmental justice issues, you understand the importance of real estate and property ownership. So it's not only a fun job that I get to do, but it's something that does have a bigger macro impact on towns, counties, regions, because if you're ever trying to change something, the first thing you have to look at is who lives in the area. And real estate is a big part of that. So everybody I met in real estate over the years, buying my first house right after the crash, all of that, people were always so inviting. You do real estate, you'll love it. Do real estate, you'll love it. Do real estate, you'll love it. And they're right. And that's why I'm a huge champion for and cheerleader for RECP, because it is a great career path. There are a lot of job opportunities, and the industry is constantly evolving, but it's not going anywhere.
Right. That's well said. Wow, very interesting that you kind of had that lane of interest in environmentalism, and then here you've landed in real estate law, which we've heard is one of the happy laws, right? People are excited to be buying a house. And what's the other one? Adoption, I think, is also the happy law.
Yes.
So we're excited to have you in the real estate lane. What do you see as some of the biggest challenges in the industry?
Right now, artificial intelligence, which I think we'll talk a little bit more about too, it is a challenge. I mean, just data security. We've seen all of the major title insurers get hacked right now, today, whatever day this is, Friday, February 1st, Fulton County, the main city of Atlanta County, can't do business because they've been taken over by hackers. Which has impacted the ability to pull property tax records, the ability to validate liens and judgments, the ability to talk to anybody at the office. Their phone systems are down. So data security is a huge challenge. And I think that's why we have to have duplicitous platforms. So not only are you storing your data in your platform, your software processing service, we use Qualia, or SoftPro is another big one out there, Resware. But I really think people need to store the stuff in their own backyard also, in one way, shape, or form, whether that's paper or whether that's a scanned copy. Now, you have to check obviously with your IT person and your insurance company as far as what's allowed.
Right.
But I think having double backups is really, really important for people. And then just on a micro level, for me, the biggest challenge is keeping cool. Anytime you're dealing with money,
Yeah.
everybody's on edge, as they should be. So it's a challenge to stay cool. Like I literally have a fan. I have like an ice, they have those ice face mask things that people use, because it gets hot when you're, slinging paper and picking up the phone and working on files. So staying cool, both literally and figuratively, is a challenge. I'm proud to say that I'm not only a graduate of RECP, I'm a graduate of a 52-hour anger management class. Because emotional intelligence is so necessary to succeed in any industry, but in real estate also. I mean, you're literally dealing with personalities, with technology, all of these things that can be very stressful. So navigating emotion, as much as bigger picture things like data security, are really important.
Yeah. Great insight there. So it sounds like you recommend, backups of backups. And are you old school? Do you like having it printed and hard copies of everything, or not necessarily?
I'm indecisive on that question. And it's crazy because I'm a very, to the point kind of person. I mean, I'm not black or white on issues. I understand gray areas where the magic happens, but I haven't decided if I'm old school. I don't know. I am a millennial. So as far as generations are concerned, I think our generation was known for being kind of that bridge between Z and boomer. So I think I'm kind of in between. I do like having something on paper if it's, if it's a rare document, if it's something I've kind of never really seen, I'm going to print out all pages of it and redline it in hand. If it's a GAR form, Georgia Association of Realtor contract, I'm going to look at page 1, I'm going to look at page 26. I don't need to see all the other stuff unless we're going to start fighting about it. If we're going to start fighting about it, then I will print all of it out and pick my sections. But for the most part, I think it's okay to do a lot of things. I find sometimes people get stuck in a rut and they only want to do no paper, or they only want to do paper. And it's like, it's really not that big of a deal as long as you're picking the right, as long as you're answering the client's question. I don't know that it matters. But obviously, as an environmentalist, I like no paper. And paper is expensive. I mean, you got to pay for all this stuff, right? I just bought a copier lease, and that's a monthly expense. So yes, you do have to have some paper, but at the same time, I love facilitating remote work. I think that allowing people to work from home really does allow for the best work product and employee satisfaction as well.
Agreed. That's controversial, but agreed.
I know.
So on the flip side of challenges, what do you see as some of the biggest rewards in the industry?
Biggest rewards. I mean, really seeing people take ownership over their lives. Instead of just sitting on the sidelines of the swimming pool, just jump in, buy something, if it's crappy and you hate it, sell it. It's real estate is not as life or death as I think some people may think it is. Call up. I mean, I have a list of loan officers I work with daily, and like, they'll try anything. Like, if somebody wants to buy a house, let's see what we can do, So I think the biggest reward is just seeing the happiness that comes from the stability that a house can give, whether it's big or small.
Agreed. So, empowering people to believe that their dreams can come true and that they should start, somewhere. You don't know until you start asking the questions and looking into, what you can qualify for, et cetera. And I assume, do you have a team that you like to work with in terms of like lenders that you can recommend or a realtor you would recommend? Yeah.
Great agents, that I hang out with socially and do community service projects with. Richently, we participated in the TI turkey giveaway with Christina Parks of Parks and Associates and Richie Rich of Richie Torrance and Associates at Keller Williams. Chris Estrada in Florida at KW is a great agent. Everybody at Village Premier, Sasha Smith. Yes, I mean, there's so many wonderful agents. It's like the Grammys. You don't want to just miss these people out.
Right.
But no, I mean, really, like, we're all in this together. And Hank Miller's great on LinkedIn. Never even met him in real life, but I really appreciate his content on appraisals. Brad from Due South in Alabama is also a home appraiser inspector that does really great content. I think it's good to be able to put faces with names. And that's why RECP is so useful, is because you're not just some internet video, you're real people here in Atlanta with, decades of experience, and you can actually relate to people on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next question. What are some of the changes that you've seen during your career in the industry?
So I haven't been here that long, so I've heard the stories. I do know how to use a typewriter. I like having a typewriter. I respect people that have typewriters in their office. I personally don't have one yet because they're hard to come by.
Right.
But as far as changes, I think just the speed of communication is insane. That's number one, is really just everything is on a fast track, which is good sometimes.
Right.
But then, the artificial intelligence thing again, I mean, these scams where people are using voice fakes to impersonate, horrific. I will share a story that I haven't really shared publicly, but just recently, within the past 3-4 weeks, I got a call from the police department, and they had my mother in custody because she was being victimized by a phone scam and she had no idea. It was shocking. I thought it was a joke. I really thought it was a joke. And within the span of 8 hours, they had tried to drain like $35,000 from her account. It could have been worse. I mean, it could have been $2 million. Luckily, we were able to like swoop in and reverse everything, but it was so nerve-wracking. I mean, when I tell you, like, everything else stops, it's just like when if your child got hit by a bus, like nothing else would matter at that point. Everything else stops. When financial fraud happens, everything else has to stop. Like, there's nothing else you can do, because if somebody steals your identity, you're done. So I would really encourage people to follow up with me if they've had issues like that, in confidence. There are reporters that are, and podcast people that are working on stories about identity theft. And there are certain things that you can do, and I can just share some of the things that we did. Putting a freeze on all 3 credit bureaus, immediately stopping everything. But that's my number one big red flag, is just trying to encourage everybody that they know to be careful when it comes to your online banking reality, especially older people. Seniors are the victims of, I mean, they're the targets of these scams because they have idle time. They could be
Right.
lonely and
Right.
they're sitting on cash, right?
Right.
So it's really important that anybody watching this that knows how to log on to a LinkedIn Live, go to your grandma's house and
Yeah.
make sure that they're okay, because the elder abuse level of this kind of fraud is really devastating.
Yeah. That's really sad. And I'm sorry that happened to your mom. Do you think she's going to recover from that and have some?
Yeah, and I think it was, I mean, it was divine intervention. You know, it happened at the moment, just
Good.
completely randomly. And I think it was just the red flag that because we see this every day, right? My number one job is to make sure all of the pennies are accounted for.
Right.
Everybody is who they say they are, and you're buying what you thought you were buying.
Right.
That's it. That's really all I'm here to do, is to make sure everything is perfect, or as close to perfect as humanly possible. And so to think that it could happen to my own mother when this is what I do every day was a wake-up call. So I think it was helpful, you know, to say you got to get burned, you know, to know that the stove is hot.
Yeah, true. Wow. Again, she's lucky to have you and someone in her
Very
camp that
much so.
support that. Yeah. Wow. All right, next question. Do you have any tips for people who would be new closers?
Yes. Number
What are some?
one, pick up the phone.
Okay.
Call anybody. Call anybody, call everybody. I think that phone etiquette is a lost art, because we're all in such a hurry and we feel like everything is anonymous and you can just treat people however you want to treat them. And talking to somebody on the phone can resolve so much more than 25 emails can accomplish. So if you're a closer and you're getting numbers from a builder that are just, they don't match up with what you think the contract said, whatever, just pick up the phone and say, hey, I saw you put a $12,000 credit on line 406. Why did you do that? I had the credit as 10,000. You know, I'm missing an amendment. Because in the 30 seconds it takes you to get that person on the phone, you would have tried to start typing an email.
Right.
Somebody would have walked into your office. You would have gotten 3 more emails, and the interruptions. Whereas when you're talking on a phone, it's a one-to-one. You know, I've even turned off call waiting on my cell phone. If you call my phone now and I'm on the other line, you'll get a message that says, I've disabled call waiting. Please leave a message. Because the interruptions are just so detrimental to work product. So I would say number one advice for closers and new folks in the industry, pick up the phone. And as Sandi said in the chat, ask. Just ask. It can't hurt. And you'll be surprised, at least I was, when you ask. If you don't know something and you ask people, like nobody else knows either. There's so much like generalized ignorance. And when you realize, like, okay, I'm not dumb because I didn't know this, and he thinks it's this way, but she thinks it's that way. Like, just ask. It's, you know, it's a group product.
Right. Group challenge. I wanted to ask, do you have any tips for new real estate attorneys?
Oh, good gosh. I mean, try and learn from somebody who's old school. I have to say I've had extremely awesome teachers and mentors. And one of my first bosses printed everything. She took home all the abstracts at night. She came back in the morning with her stack of files and everything was marked up. And I'm so grateful that I had that training when I walked in the door. So, you know, try and learn from somebody who's been doing it for a really long time, if you can.
Mentor.
And then I would say also, don't be afraid to specialize. You know, there's nothing wrong with like just doing real estate.
Right.
It can be tempting, and I'm telling myself that do as I say, not as I say. But you know, I mean, there's some tangential things, you know, that you can kind of do on the side that are real estate related. I have a couple code enforcement matters I'm dealing with right now.
Gotcha.
But you know, just stick with it, try to have fun with it. And I just personally, now that I'm on my own, I try to know everything I can about the file. Like I want to know who Sally Seller is. I want to know her, where she's moving. I want to know. It's just maybe I'm, you know, crazy for doing that, but to me it helps me provide people customer service because I can understand, okay, well, if Sally Seller just lost her husband and is moving to Florida, then obviously I can step delicately around her ability to come sign something here. You know, just the more information you have on your customers and the real estate, obviously, the better.
Right. Good. That's well said. Where do you see the industry headed in the near future?
I hope up because man, it's been rough. I'm dying. No, just kidding. It's been a nice break after the rush of free money in 2020 and 2021. Things are, you know, dipped incredibly low. I think it was like a 40% reduction. Old Republic just published their 2023 Q4 numbers, and it was like a 50% reduction in policy amounts written year over year. So, you know, it's changed for the worse as far as volume is concerned. But I'm hoping that that will equate to changing for the better as far as consumers are concerned. So I think rates are going to decline slightly based on projections from the Fed. And hopefully builders can build. That's something I don't have any idea what's going to happen with. I mean, the cost of materials is just so outrageous right now that volume is tough. So I think that hopefully, you know, people can buy some resales because new construction is just slowed down a lot. I know that like the city of Atlanta, I want to say next week, February 16th, they are having a like open house in the atrium for permitting to fast track permits for people. So if anybody is watching this that's in construction, that's building, it's mostly affordable. So, you know, not $600 to $1,000, but anybody that's trying to get permits through and hasn't been able to get anybody on the phone or get anything done, like try and go down to City Hall next week when they're doing that fast track. But hopefully the market will speed up a little bit as spring comes. You know, there's still a lot of great places to live and new houses coming on the market every day. So I do think that we will see a little bit more volume this summer.
Good. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Do you want to touch on AI anymore? How AI could affect the future of the industry?
I don't think it's going to replace humans when it comes to processing, because the speed of this industry, it's so not uniform, you know, like you can have a file sitting on your desk or let's say sitting on an artificial intelligence portal for like 35 days while people figure out what color carpet they want, you know, and nothing happens. And then like everything happens on the next, you know, in the next 24 hours. And I think that there just has to be some sort of human element to rush that at the, you know, to move that file to the top of the pile, to, you know, correct and make sure everything is airtight and is up to speed. I mean, I love AI because it provides like a constant machine churning in the background. So I think AI is great for things like text messaging, file updates, auto chat with corporations to find out where they're located. But I don't think it's going to eliminate the need for people.
Humans.
Right.
Good. That human interaction is still important. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, artificial is cool, but like natural intelligence is also really nice as well.
How do you see RECP being an asset to the industry?
Great question. The biggest asset that RECP provides to firms and managers, I think, is that you all are an outside, disinterested third party that can both provide a forum and a resource for staff. So, it can be challenging when people work in law offices or title companies and they raise certain questions or concerns or don't like the way this is being done or that, I mean, your job is at issue, right? Like Georgia's a right to work state. So RECP, I think, is a great place to provide like a safe space, which is the catchphrase these days, but a safe space for professionals to be honest about what it is they're working on and how it's happening and what's happening or what's not happening. So that's number one, is it's a great resource for employees. But then also it kind of takes some of the management burden away from firm owners or managers, because management is a full-time job, and I think people often think that management and training are the same thing. How many times have you had a job and then like 6 weeks into your new job they're asking you to train somebody else? Like, that's training is a job, right? So you provide that service at a reasonable cost. I mean, when you think about the time it would take for a actual employee, a manager, a closing department manager, whatever, to come up with the curriculum, to stop what they're doing, to spend a half a day in the training room with staff.
Right.
And there's still going to be that, split between, do I really trust you? Are there personality issues? Whatever. So you're a great resource to the staff, but you're a great resource to management because you provide everything tied up in a neat little bow, and it takes the responsibility for training off of the desk of the firm owner or the manager.
Yeah, great. I appreciate you saying it that way. We like to think that we can minimize some of the burdens that might be in a firm if they're busy and don't have time to train adequately, that we can step in and help be that resource. Yeah. Sandi says, thanks so much, Erin.
Oh, you're welcome.
Would you want to talk a little bit about Integrity Title?
Sure. So I started a title company at the end of 2023, and I did that because law firms in the state of Georgia cannot profit share with non-attorneys. So to me, my vision is to build something that staff can profit from, as well as affiliates. So Integrity Title is a brand new women-owned boutique title and settlement services company. We're based in Douglas and Cobb County outside of Atlanta, but we serve, I can run title anywhere in the state. I'm providing mobile and on-site closing for builders, agents, and buyers and sellers. Pretty much, Atlanta West, Atlanta South. I don't really want to go to LJ unless, you're going to invite me to your cabin over the weekend. But yeah, it's a new baby that's just up and running, and I'm grateful to have mentorship from you guys at Positively Balanced and RECP, as well as some support from some really great title insurance reps that I trust. And I'm just getting started. So it's a good year, and I'm happy to be here. Yep. And I heard something, I don't know if it was a music lyric. I need to like put it on an Instagram page, and I need your TikTok girl to help me, or your TikTok guy, whoever, TikTok person to help me with that. But they said something, they were like, if you have integrity, nothing else matters. And if you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. So to me, that seemed very poignant. And yeah, I'm excited to grow the company.
Yeah, that's exciting. We wish you nothing but the best of success.
Thank you.
So what are you most excited about for 2024?
Growth in the industry. That's number one. Two, getting a website, like that will be a good thing to do. And then immediately I'm excited about an upcoming event. I'm just trying to pull it up right now. Partnering with Graham Estate Planning Law Firm to hold a event that is open to the public on February 14th. So come over before your chocolate steak date night. But talking about legacy and the importance in dealing with your estate and the real estate component of it. So Stephanie Graham is a former prosecutor and a great estate lawyer that's had her own practice for years. She was appointed by the Fulton County Probate Court, was the first African-American appointed, court-appointed administrator. So I was happy to receive an invitation from her to be on the panel to talk about the real estate side of things. And she'll be talking about the trust side of things. But people can just go to Graham Estate Planning, I think, .com. I don't know if you can see that.
No, but for some reason, but if
I'm not good at this. Like, I've never done a LinkedIn Live before, but I think Pierre will put it in the chat. There's a website. It's just grahamestateplanning.com/legacy event, and it's February 14th, and the details are all on that website.
Great.
And then lastly, I'm excited to see you guys again. I hope to be part of one of your classes. Are you doing a lot of in-person or mostly online these days?
It's almost all virtual. So yeah, we run those 9 workshops monthly. And we tend to have a pretty steady stream of attendees, whether realtors, attorneys. We do get a lot of new attorneys coming through.
Great.
And sometimes their staff as well. So we are staying busy.
Well, congratulations on the Georgia Bar or Georgia Real Estate Commission approval. That's huge.
Yes, that was huge. We're still working on the Georgia Bar.
Okay.
We'll keep submitting until we can get their approval as well. That's one of our goals still.
Yes.
Well, I think that's all that I had to share, unless there's anything else you want to add today, Erin?
No, I appreciate the invitation. Thank you for your patience as we work through the technology side of it. But I greatly appreciate the work that you guys do, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Great. You are so welcome. Thanks again for being here. Just a reminder that our next LinkedIn Live will be on March 21st, and we'll be hosting customer service keys. So stay tuned for that one.
I might have to attend that.
Yeah. Thanks, Erin, so much.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.